Hello everybody and welcome back. It is me, your old pal Orpheus, with another adventure here on Orpheus Plays. And I am here playing Blade and Sorcery Update 11 or 12. And I just blew that, who cares? Update 12, that's right. Here on Blade and Sorcery, both the Quest 2 version, the port, and the PC version have the new update called Update 12, and they've added so much cool stuff to the game, including some stuff I'll show you in a little bit. You notice there's a whole bunch more stuff here on the map, right? There's like, you know, clay pots, and there's boxes that look different, little podium lecterns here. That's cool. So like I could take this and I can go over here and I can give them a little speech here, so you know. So today we're going to be doing a little, anyway, so there are little secrets. I'll show you these in just a minute. And there's also modding in the game. There are mods now built into the game. You don't have to go to some site and hook things up and download a bunch of stuff. There are mods in the game. They're built in. Plus, look at this. I mean, this is slick. Used to be a book. Now it's this, like, cool scroll kind of thing that, you know, you imagine just kind of pops out. So, yeah, mods are now built into the game. This is amazing. You can just manage all of them. There's not a lot here yet. I'm assuming there's going to be something that goes in there, but there are a whole bunch of things you can do right from the start menu. As soon as you boot up the game, you'll see a little thing that says mods down in the right hand corner. You pull that up and there's just a whole list, just like any modding site. It's supported, as I understand, by mod.io, which is a cool modding site for all that stuff. So I hope you're doing well wherever you are today, whether it's day or night, or you just got out of the hospital like me and you're trying to recover from horrible appendectomy surgery. And that's what we'll get into today. But the game mode we're playing today is the original survival mode. They still got this in the game, of course. It's amazing. You get your choice of 3 different weapons. Each round is supposed to get progressively harder, and we'll see what's going on. Now, you might notice that I'm a little bit more reserved with my combat style today. I can't grab it. What's going on? Hello? Hello? Oh boy. Alright, so I think I'm gonna have to reload this level. Oh no. Oh, my hand is broken. Live updates here. Alright, so hold on. Let me reload the level. This makes it just so simple. We'll just restart the level here. Boom. And we're into the darkness. And you might notice sometimes on the loading screen, there's some new stuff that pops up there that loads a bunch of assets and everything. Apparently they made it a little faster just by kind of preloading everything into the game. Alright, so here we go. We're going to start things off. Another great day for murder, for mayhem, and for breaking stuff all over the place. Let's do our first traditional slow motion kill of the day. We'll throw that at her just to distract her, and I'll pull out a sickle. This is one of the new things in the game. Let's see how horrible we can do this. Come on, take your strike, babe. Come on, babe. Strike at me. She's so scared. Ha, you missed. My turn. There's new death sounds in the game too, which is kind of cool. At least some of the mods that I've got. There's realistic bleeding. There's some extra new death sounds and stuff. Let's give you a little taste of those here. Hold on. What are you doing? Ooh, realistic bleeding. Oh boy. So yeah. Let's see. I had quite the experience. I want to tell you about that just briefly. I won't go into all the details, and don't worry, nothing's gross, so you don't have to worry about that. Before we do that, let's pull out one of the other mods that's going on in this game. They have re-released Mjolnir here in the game. This has lightning powers. It can do this whole thing, the lightning. Where am I going with this? Apparently it strikes lightning behind me, but it also has the great little Mjolnir thing going on with that. Oh, and you can smack people with it, obviously. So, on with the appendectomy story. This would be about almost 3 weeks ago now. I was, pirate sword. I was kind of, you know, resting, and I had this, like, pain down in this part of my abdomen. Now, I've had issues like that for most of my life. Kind of a little gastrointestinal thing going on. Wow. And a little bits of pain and pressure once in a while, but they'd come and go, you know, and it wasn't something that was really serious. I've suffered with Crohn's and all that my whole life, and so it wasn't something that I was terribly concerned with, right? Well, it had gotten kind of bad at one point. Go back. It's snuggling back on my hip. Oh, well, whatever. So I was having some issues, kind of uncomfortable, kind of... give me back this... Oh. Okay. Kind of uncomfortable, kind of feeling... It didn't feel the same as it had before, right? It was kind of just this nagging kind of pain, and it was kind of a throb kind of thing going on, and it was... I don't know, it felt different. And so I was like, the first night that I felt it, all right. I could get some sleep. It was a little rough. Second night, a little bit rougher. Third night, I go to sleep, and I'm like, honey, this is kind of bad. I'll let you know if anything weird happens. You know, we'll keep an eye on it. And she's like, okay. So about 1 o'clock in the morning, it was bad. It was, you know, to the point where I was like, I can't stop anymore. I can't just wait this out. So I wake her up. Go to the hospital. You know how it's always like, you know, when there's something bad that you need to go to the ER for, it's always like overnight, right? That always, you go in there and it's kind of dark and depressing, and they're showing some crappy movie on there on some big TV. Well, we go in and we say, you know, oh, abdominal pain. Wow, abdominal pain and some, you know, pressure, a little bit of nausea going on, but not like really bad, right? Okay, so they get me all checked in with triage and everything. Come here. Come here. Come here. I want to stab you. Okay. So you get checked in and triage. They figure out how serious it is. Well, as soon as I said that it was abdominal pain, they were like, oh, okay. And they got me in. And you know, the first thing they do is a CAT scan. So they inject you full of dye. And they put you up in a CT scanner. Come here. Sometimes I can't tell if this mod is like from a porno movie. the sounds they make. Anyway, so they hook me up to a CT scanner. Ooh, they inject me full of that dye, and they hook me up to an IV. Well, if I had known that damn IV that they put in was going to be in my arm for the next, like, day and a half, I would have hoped that they would have picked someone who was better at it. I'll get to that in a second. So, get hooked up to that, and I'm just waiting there with my wife. We're sitting there, and she's like, at first she goes, okay, well, I'm going to go home for a little bit and arrange some stuff, get some stuff together. You know, do you need your tablet? Do you want this and that? I'm like, yeah. And so, oh, jeez, man. Anyway, so let me show you some breaking stuff. Hold on. That ruined it right away. We're gonna take this thing. We're gonna slow it down so you can see it really well, and we're gonna go like this. Smash on your face. Is there someone else? Who's here? Who's here? Oh, you're still alive. Okay. Well, goodbye. Anyway, so this nurse comes out after they've got me hooked up to these IVs, and there's just a bunch of people in that little waiting room. You know, the little room you get when you're in the ER. Yeah. So they come in. My wife comes back. And this nurse walks up, and she's really cheery. She's like, la la la, hey, how you doing? Hey, so we got your CT scan, and it looks kind of bad. You've got appendicitis. And she's like, it's really inflamed and angry, so it's probably already leaking. So we're gonna send you to another hospital because all of their beds were all full. Now, that was a little bit of relief for me because the hospital in our town is kind of known for being completely crap, right? And so Haha, you missed. And so I'm like, okay. So I'm like, so where are they going to send me? This local place? And she's like, no, they're full too. I'm like, oh no. She says, well, we're actually going to send you to the big city that's near us, about 2.5 hours away. And I'm like, oh, great. So I think, you know, hey, they're going to life flight me, right? They're going to put me on the on the chopper. Oh, come on. They're going to put me on the chopper, slow motion, punch into bars. Oh, I stuck to him. Anyway, man, bathe, dude. I stuck to your nuts. Anyway, so I'm like, yeah, they're going to put me on a chopper. This will be sweet, right? I'm not even thinking about how much this is going to cost. Like, I don't want to. So they go, no. We just had to send someone to the hospital out of town here, the closest one. Because that one's full too. We had to send that guy for appendicitis as well to the hospital. And I'm like, great. So I can't go to the local hospital, you know, the closer one. And that was still, you know, like an hour away. I'm like, I can't get airlifted because some other jackass had appendicitis, you know, 20 minutes before me. So it turns out there were actually, sorry about that. Turns out there were 3 different appendectomies that had to be done that night, just from our city alone. And so I was like number 3 that night, just that night. It's, I mean, statistically, wow. Okay. So I'm like, well, what am I going to do if there's no chopper? She's like, well, we're going to put you on an ambulance and we're going to send you, you know, via ambulance. Mind you, while I've got this inflamed appendix, right, that could burst at any moment. So they're like, well, we're going to send you on an ambulance. It's like, okay. Fortunately, the guy in the ambulance, or the guys in the ambulance were really cool. They let me use my vape pen. I'm not going to tell you which company it is because they might get in trouble. Oh, right in the throat. Anyway, so, you know, the ride 2.5 hours, not terrible, kind of bumpy and kind of painful once in a while. But man, they had shot me up with so many painkillers. As soon as I came in and they like processed me through, they're like, would you like something for the pain? I'm like, yeah, you know, that'd be nice. They shoot me up with morphine immediately. So it's like, morphine's kind of good when you got it in a hospital situation because you go from like, pain, and then suddenly it's just like, this warm, fuzzy feeling just kind of comes over you. You're like, la la la. I actually did a community post on my YouTube channel here. That was, I apparently wrote something that was an update, but like I went back and read it, and it was like, I was a little whacked out on morphine at that point. Anyway, so we finally get to the hospital. This hospital in this larger city, I guess they had some problems at one point because, well, I'm still on the stretcher, right? I'm on the little gurney, right? I'm strapped to this thing. I got an IV bag. I've got like an EKG meter hooked up to me, so it's going beep, 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 right? And so the dude at the door, there's a security guy at the door who frigging frisked me and like x-rayed my bag and everything. Which is like, what is going on? Like, I'm here. Ooh, hello. That sounded intimate. And so I'm like, I'm here to get my life saved, and you're concerned about frisking me for weapons. Like, that seemed really weird to me. Anyway, so what was that? I was trying to grab. And so I get to the triage there. And they put me in there, and they say, you know, oh, so we found out that it's really inflamed and really angry looking, and we're going to have to do an appendectomy, a laparoscopic appendectomy. Although, one of the surgeons was like, you know, you have another option. You can get treated with all sorts of... What? You can get treated with all sorts of heavy antibiotics, and that will probably make it go away for now. But he said, you know, there's a 60% chance in the next 3 years that you'll have to come and get it taken out anyway. That's one of the mods, by the way. It's the head popper, head smasher, whatever it is. Let's try that again. Oh, no, I missed. Come here. Yeah, see, your head exploded over there. Oh, no. Oh, no. It looks like one of those gag deer mounts that you get. It's just the butt end that you mount. Anyway, so they're like, so we can either treat you with that, and you'll have to probably come back within 3 years to get it taken out anyway. And I'm like, I'm already a third into this traumatic experience. Let's just get this over with, right? Where's my sickle? Come here. Ah, yeah, I'm scared of that. Whee! And so he says, or you can get the laparoscopic surgery. Like, okay, fine. And so my wife she was back in our hometown here, and it was like, she couldn't get here in enough time for, to be here for the surgery. So it's like, okay. Well, so they get me all set up. They're pumping me full of antibiotics. They're pumping me full of IVs. I was legitimately hooked up to IVs for, like, wow, Japanese style. So I was legitimately hooked up to IVs for a day and a half, right? And it was just like, oh my God, like, I couldn't, I always felt like I was floating in myself, you know what I mean? Let me have my sickle back. And so it gets to the point where they're like, okay, we're gonna get you all hooked up, and we're gonna get you ready for surgery. Disarmed, babe. And so they're asking me all these questions. They're having me sign all this paperwork, and finally it gets to the point where they're like, okay, well, we're gonna take you in. Well, here's one of the creepy parts. They had a nurse that was prepping me, and she goes, okay, so what's your religion? And I go, I tell her, I just kind of, hey, my religion is blah. And she goes, okay, well, we'll just note that. And I go, okay, and I was on so many painkillers. I was just like, yeah, my religion is blah, right? We're staying away from any controversy, so I'm not going to include any specific religion. Okay, so I thought about it later, and that was like, she asked me that because in case something happened, they'd know what to do, right? So, and then they say, hey, are you okay with a blood transfusion? And I'm like, well, okay, what would I need one normally? And they said, no, give me back my sickle. You can have that, screw it. And so, she goes, would you take a blood transfusion if you needed one in case of complication? Come on, stop it, bro. And I said, yeah, of course. Because I said, well, do I really have a choice? And she says, I mean, not really, unless you want to die. And I'm like, okay, well, I guess I can't. Wow, it's his brain. Anyway, I said, do I have a choice? Well, no, unless you want to die. And it's like, well, I guess that's not a choice then, right? Did he just eat that? You just ate that, bro. Gross. Nasty. So, I guess I'm like, yeah, fine. Let's do that, I guess, if I need it. And so, I go, and, you always see in TV and movies, they'll put the gas mask on you. They wheeled me in, and, like, they put me on the stretcher. The guy was like, do you want to roll over on the stretcher? Or do you want us to do it onto the table? And I'm thinking, dude, I'm probably paying you tens of thousands of dollars for this emergency surgery. You're going to ask me if I want to roll my own ass over on it? No. I'm like, you do that. That's fine. So they put me on the table, and they strap me down, right? My arms are, like, strapped down at my sides. And they're like, okay, well, we're going to get ready to go. And the first thing I noticed, I was like, this table's really narrow. And I start rocking a little bit back and forth. And in retrospect, I noticed that one of the surgeons look over at somebody, over here. And suddenly it was just like the recording tape stopped, right? Just stopped. And I woke up in my room later blowing on a thing, like a lung clearing thing. I don't know why. It had apparently been like a 4-hour kind of surgery because my appendix was in the wrong place. It was apparently higher up, and so they couldn't find it at first. So, yeah, being in that hospital was a nightmare. They wanted to let me go. The first two surgeons and the physical therapists were like, yeah, no, you can go home after this. You'll be fine. The third surgeon comes in. My wife had just arrived. The third surgeon comes in. He says, no, we're probably going to want to keep you one more night. And my wife and I look at each other and we're like, no, that's not happening. We're 2.5 hours away from our house. Right? That is just simply not going to happen. And you would be amazed how quickly they go from, okay, we're going to keep you, to, okay, get the hell out of here. It was less than 10 minutes from me saying, okay, no, and then suddenly it was against doctor's orders. Oh, they're going against medical advice. They're not choosing to follow the medical advice. Against doctor's orders, against medical advice, AMA. Like, okay, whatever, dude. So they give me these prescriptions, the pointless ones for like ibuprofen and Tylenol. Like, what? I have these things at home, right? I make enough money to buy Tylenol, and they give me these muscle relaxants for like, the little spasms and stuff that go on, and then they give me antibiotics that I'm supposed to take for like a week and a half. Okay. So I get home, and I had to stop to pee literally 12 times on the way, because as soon as they unhooked me from that IV, my body was just like, purge. So I kept like asking my wife, can we stop? Can we please stop? Oh God, I'm gonna pee. Woo! So we get home the whole way, and we go to the drugstore to get these prescriptions filled, because it was like, maybe 1 o'clock in the afternoon at that point. And we go to the pharmacy, and they're like, okay, well, we can't fill these because they weren't signed. The doctor never signed the damn thing, so I had to set up an appointment that day with my local person and have them look at it. I told them this whole experience, and they were like, oh my God, this is awful. They never offered me one of those, like, do not resuscitate discussions, right? What if I had not wanted to be waking up with tubes and wires all hooked up for me for, 8 months of my life? Anyway, so we got the prescriptions and everything. I'm healing. It's doing well. Everything's going fine. But, a little bit of pain, a little bit of tenderness and tightness. But, yeah, it was not a fun experience. My arm aches a lot, and it's because the person who put in the IV put it in just slightly wrong. And so for a day and a half, I'm flexing this thing, and so I've got this pain that like runs up and down because the tissue's trying to heal there. I've got 3 scars. So one's over on this side, a little tiny one. One's above my bladder right there. That's where they stuck in a thing called a trocher, which is basically just a spike. And then there's another one up near my belly button where they put another one. I'm doing fine. I'm recovering just fine. Everything is good. But, I haven't been able to record for a while. And coincidentally, Update 12 came out. Amazing! So, that is today's episode, where I just gave you a brief overview in the pink mist of her brains. Good Lord. Just give you a little brief overview of what happened. I'll go into some other stuff later, because, good Lord, was there some interesting stuff on the side that happened. Anyway, I hope you're doing well. I hope you continue to do well, and we'll see you on the next one here on Orpheus Plays. Hey, treat yourself well. Ew. Treat yourself well. You deserve it. All right, we'll see you again on the next one. Bye!